Hey everybody, this is Pastor Michael at Ascension Lutheran Church in Torrance, California. It's time for another midweek boost. I want to talk to you again about faith and how important it is that we understand the nature of faith. In my Wednesday Bible study this morning, we're going over chapter 11 of the book of Hebrews, and that chapter is all about faith. And so I asked the people, if someone asked you for a definition of faith, what would you be able to tell them? Well, many people realized that the answer was practically staring them in the face. Chapter 11, verse 1 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things unseen." Now, while that is the textbook answer, it's coming straight from the Bible, it's not a complete answer. And the reason that I say that is this. Many people are assured of things that are simply not true. I remember when I was playing baseball, there were friends of mine who had never played baseball a day in their life who were convinced that they could hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, it looks a lot easier on TV, I can tell you that. But they were convinced. As a therapist, before I became a pastor, I ran into people who believed things that were simply untrue. Now, in that world, it's called delusions, and sometimes they were very disruptive in a person's life, believing things that are simply not true, being absolutely convinced. That's not faith. And I've heard Christians arguing with atheists and making this point that, for instance, an atheist who believes that the universe just came from nothing. I've heard Christians say, you believe that takes more faith than it takes for me to believe that there's a God. Now that's someone who does not understand the nature of faith. They think that it's simply being convinced of something. Faith is much, much more than that. That's why it's important to take in the whole counsel of God. I think that you can get a really good understanding of faith by combining what Paul has to say in Romans chapter 10 about faith and what the author of Hebrews says about faith here in chapter 11. And what Paul says is this: faith comes from hearing, and hearing from the message of Christ. So that, according to Paul, faith is a real thing. It is a gift. It's something that is created in you as we hear the message of Christ. And so we believe in the message and in the messenger because we've heard it. And the Holy Spirit uses it to create faith in our hearts so that we believe. And it's real, and we can count on it. It's not something that we muster up on our own. So, if you want to have a definition of faith, I think that's a good one. Combine those two passages, Romans 10:17 and Hebrews 11:1, and understand that, yes, faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things unseen. But it is God who created that conviction in you by the power of His Word and the message of the cross. Have a great night, everybody.